Hi everybody, Chris here from Truly Holistic. Now, had a really interesting day today. It's always an interesting day on a Monday for me here in New Zealand. It's Monday to see what changes are occurring in regards to the Ascension. Okay, and obviously the way the world is at the moment, and there's a lot of panic, there's a lot of hysteria about what's going on, and I'm here to provide some information that we can look at this situation in more of a positive light. Okay. Hey, is there a virus, which we call COVID-19 or coronavirus? We always have to abbreviate everything, don't we? Yes, sure there is. The process that's being involved is definitely beyond anything that we've ever experienced, a majority of us, yes. But we must understand also what's the symbology of this. What's the symbology at the ascension level or at the energetic level that's happening behind the scenes of what's going on in regards to this virus, okay? And also the scenario of the virus, because what's going to happen is majority of the people that are getting affected by the situation are people that are never going to get the virus or even get close to contracting the virus. It's all this association and panic and hysteria in regards to occurring around the world in regards to prevention of people getting the virus. It's affecting everyone, okay? So we need to look at the process involved with what's going on here, okay? And there's been some great information that has come through to me today that's going to bring a bit more light to the situation of the bigger picture of what's occurring, and I thought I'd share it with you, okay? So currently here in New Zealand, we're getting to a point where everything's going to be closed down. Businesses are going to be closed down. Thank God True Holistic's not going to be closed down. We're going to continue as I work from home and working online and so on. So we can still continue doing that. We can continue making products for you and sending products for you at this dire need, especially the copper. And I've got to say, there's a lot of research coming up showing about copper contact, topical copper, kills everything. And I shared an article on my Facebook account in regards to this, and a lot of my products that we're making is copper. And what you can actually do with this copper, if you've got a tool like this or a bracelet or anything like that, what you can do is sanitize, and you can rub it on your hands like this, okay? Because on topical contact, metal copper will kill anything. Okay, and if you wear it, or you can just use it in that way. So copper's wonderful, like silver's great as well. So keep that in mind. Now, what was coming up here is initially this is what first came straight through in my first session with my first client. Was this? There's been an acceleration of ascension, okay, within the simulation. Okay, this simulation means this reality. Okay. And ascension backup is no longer a problem. So what's happening in the background is the data, the information, the energy which is going into creating the simulation is transitioning into a reality that is about ascending, evolving, and growing us into the right direction instead of things limiting us and degenerating us and preventing ascension. So this is good news in regards to that front. Okay, so there's a big shift occurring at an energetic level, which then manifests into a big shift on this physical plane. And what's happening at the moment? There's a big shift that is all the snowballed from this idea, or this virus, okay, this corona COVID-19 virus. So straight away, what came to the forefront of my focus when that intent was coming through was there was a program I used to watch a few years ago. It was probably about 4 or 5 years ago when I started watching it, called Cosmic Disclosure with Corey Good and David Wilcock. And Corey Good was bringing some very out there information in regards to ascension. And that's where I first heard the term ascension, right? And he mentioned the fact that when ascension comes, we'll know when we're right in the middle of this big movement, energetic movement that's going to be happening, is there's going to be a divide. The people that haven't calibrated, done the work on themselves, when they get hit with these energies, ascension energies, they're not going to be able to handle it, and there's going to be hysteria. These people are just going to go mad and nuts in regards to the adaptation of what's happening originally at the energetic level, but we're seeing it now on the physical level in regards to what's going on with the coronavirus. Now, the people that have done the work on themselves, enhance their consciousness levels, the spirituality levels, which then have activated certain aspects of themselves, so they've gradually calibrated themselves with the shift of energy that's occurred up to this point, are going to enhance their loving capabilities. And lo and behold, we're in the midst of it right now, people. This is what's happening right now in our reality. Okay, so that is definitely validation that we're in right at the apex of Ascension right now. Now, they're already starting to talk about things closing down, and we're not going to get back to normality, maybe not until the end of the year, some people are forecasting. So there is something massively happening in the background, okay? And am I saying that the coronavirus is a hoax? The coronavirus, all these conspiracy theories? No. I'm telling you right now, there is a virus. Okay? How we perceive what a virus is and what it symbolizes and what it comes from an energetic perspective, a lot of people may not know about. But in this physical level, there is a virus called coronavirus, and people are getting infected by it. Majority of people that are getting infected or contracting this virus are just mild symptoms, like any other influenza virus or strain of influenza or viruses there. But the people that have comorbidities or got suppressed immune systems are definitely could die from this, yes, but they could die from a lot of things because they have comorbidities, they have illnesses that could take them out, okay, and coronavirus is one of those, okay, so let's just get everything back into perspective. Let's continue with this, okay, and it did bring awareness that, hey, we need to start to bring our focus back on ourselves, because, okay, I'm here in New Zealand, we're seeing the way that media is really not doing a good job with all this, okay? It's really it's really promoting this hysteria movement, but it's not just with coronavirus. The media have been doing that for years, for decades, okay? And I think this is going to bring an awareness to the situation that they are making things worse than what they have, and this has been not for just coronavirus, but for many things over years and years. And this is part of our disclosure, is realizing that the media are doing this. Okay? Does that mean that they're just lying? No, they twist the truth, and it's a filtration process of what they want to put out there and what they don't want to put out there. An example here with the news here in New Zealand was, straight away they say about people dying in Italy, and is that happening? Yes. But then straight away they'll say 66 people in New Zealand have contracted the coronavirus. So by linking that and the deaths that are happening in Italy, so straight away people are panicking because they think, if I get the coronavirus, I'm going to die. Okay? Now, what they're not saying is that the 66 people that have contracted the coronavirus, there hasn't been any deaths. Not one death yet. And I know the rate has gone up even today in regards to the people positive for coronavirus. There hasn't been one death yet, but people are going hysterical because they think that this is something that we've never seen before. But in all reality, there are viruses like this around all the time. All the influenza strains have killed numerous amount of people, more people that coronavirus that are killing now. But there's something occurring at the moment that's creating this coronavirus to be more of an epidemic than anything else. And we're going to talk about it in this video, okay? So please be aware, okay, that there are hundreds, thousands of people dying on this planet of cancer every day. And that's not at the headline of the news, is it? Influenza, other viruses, other things taking people out. That, we were supposed to resolve cancer. We're supposed to resolve heart disease, but it's not happening, is it? So this is going to bring an awareness, a disclosure for people to understand that let's have a better perspective of what's going on here. And I think that's a positive thing to get out of this scenario. And we need to look at the positives of what's going to happen from the situation. Okay, because if we don't focus on ourselves, and we get all very, we lose our awareness on self, and our mind takes it and we become hysterical. What does that do to us? It lowers our vibration. When you lower your vibration, you're more susceptible to get sick and get a contract a virus, right? So we need to control ourselves at this particular time. So anyway, so it said, okay, acceleration of ascension within the simulation, and that the calibration of frequency is going to differ to the people that haven't been calibrating with the frequencies and for the people that have. Hence why it's truly holistic. Here we've been creating these qubit measures. For example, the first qubit measure, the big qubit measure that came to me was the activation qubit. And that qubit measure was all about this particular thing, is to activate all your energy, your information, which creates this interface which we call the physical body, so it can absorb and calibrate these new energies that are coming through. Okay, that's what that qubit measure was designed for. So for the people that are wearing these pendants, wearing these bracelets, wearing these energy qubit measures, you're going to be able to, you're not going to get into, these energies are not going to make you go crazy and hysterical. Okay, and then all these other qubit measures that have come a long way. Ascension qubit measure, gateway qubit measure. These qubit measures have been created to get you ready for this process, which we're calling ascension. Okay? Now, what has been happening for the people that are ready for this clearing? Because the energies that are currently running through, that are being facilitated within this reality, are all about adaptation. And what the process, or what we're looking at the moment, or what's happening with coronavirus, but all these other things that where business having been closed, all these adaptations that are occurring, it's a kind of a challenge at the moment to see who can adapt to it, who is showing a good adaptation here. Okay. Now, one thing I must mention, actually we'll get to it. I don't want to jump too forward ahead with this situation. So, a big clearing that's been coming up is to say we need to calibrate people's Akashic records. Now, the Akashic records is like a library of memories, okay? Quite often bound and connected to our past lives, even though if we remove the programming of time, everything's happening on different timelines, all at the same time, okay? If we can understand that. Now, a lot of people, the majority of us, cannot remember our past lives. Okay, we have a limited lifespan, and for good reason, so that we don't figure out the reasons why we're here, the purpose of why we're here, and what this construct is. But what about if we could collect all that wisdom of all our past lives? Say we've been here hundreds of thousands of years. What about if we could dip into that wisdom of hundreds of thousands of years that we had collected through all those times and brought all those past lives into one collection? And that all consists within your Akashic records. Okay, what that would do? That would give you the wisdom, the information to know what to do at the correct time. But more importantly, it would create adaptation capabilities for you, right? Now, it came up to me with the analogy of, okay, for example, we might have come in contact with this strain of this infection already before and become immune to it. What about if we could make the intent to bring that data, that information, that experience from a past life, from that Akashic record, that memory, and bring it into you now? That would adapt your immune system, make your immune system and your immunity stronger, wouldn't it? So that has been a huge clearing with clients today, especially it's only come up with clients that have been through this process where we've been doing the clearings. They've been wearing the activation qubit. They've been wearing the Ascension qubit tools, which has allowed them to evolve where these energies that are currently coming through, we can calibrate them in, and it's just going to help them through this process. Now, for the people that haven't been doing these calibrations, they're not going to be ready for that. Okay, and that's why we're seeing a scenario now where there's been is isolation happening, okay, which coming from the physical plane of the coronavirus is to stop the spread of coronavirus. But maybe there's another idea and a deeper meaning of why we need to isolate at this point in time. And we're going to talk about that. Now, the one thing about isolation is that it's going to make people have a lot more time on their hands to go within instead of go without. Okay? Now, a majority of, for anybody that is, let's look at a consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness is awareness, okay? And we can only have awareness when we live life in the present, in and out. If we're not doing that, we have no awareness, and hence we have no consciousness. Okay? So for these people that are not able to calibrate these new energies coming through, and at the moment they're in fear big time in regards to what's happening in coronavirus, all these things being put in place in isolation. They're losing the plot, so to speak, right? They are people that have not evolved their consciousness. They're not aware, they're not conscious. They are very mind-orientated. Their consciousness has been sitting here, not here. And when your consciousness sits here, your focus goes to the external world, okay? We know in regards to consciousness that whatever's happening within us is a mirror image of then what we perceive as our perception of the external reality, okay? So for the people that have been living their life not very aware, not very conscious, and they have been, going here, going there, going there, going there. What's the media telling me I need to know about what the world is, instead of the way that I feel the world is? They are now, those people are now being put into a existence of isolation, where all of a sudden that external crazy world of distraction is being put aside for them to finally have a bit of time and invest a bit of time in themselves to go within. Okay? So it's trying to create an ascension for these people, an opportunity for these people to become more awakened and become more conscious. Okay? So it's giving them the chance to adapt. Okay? But adapt through love, not fear. Trying to allow them this opportunity to bring their consciousness from here into here. Because when we bring our consciousness into the heart space, we go within. Okay? There is a universe within us. And when we go within, we find out our true self. Okay? So the other thing, what it mentioned about what was happening at the moment, and this is very, very interesting. It said that currently Ascension is trying to abort the idea of a collective. Okay? Now, as I've said before, we quite often say it's a collective consciousness. No, it's not. It's a collective mindset that's occurring at the moment. Okay? And this has been poison to our human species, been poison to the planet, and at the moment there's a purging process currently occurring. Okay? We can call that a herd mentality too, where if somebody's doing something, that's the trendy thing to do, we're going to follow that, instead of going by what you think individually. And quite often, a lot of people, there's been the common concept from the collective point of view that if you work on yourself, you're being selfish. No, we're not. We're being self-serving. There's a difference with that. Now, everybody's having to go into isolation to try and tell them that they need to be more self-serving, okay? Get out of this whole collective aspect of things, okay? They're being placed into a position where they can finally assemble how they tick. Learn about your true self. And I see this every day. People are looking for love out there. No, you don't look for love out there. You don't look for the answers out here. You look for answers and love within you. Because when you can love yourself, then you can love others. If you have an idea of where you belong, why you're here, what's your purpose here within this, then you can help others. But if you don't know that, how can you help others? So it all happens here first, and then the collective will get affected indirectly by working going within. Okay, so this whole purging process of the coronavirus and everything that's being put in place where people are being isolated, everything's shutting down, on the energetic level of Ascension, is trying to get the people that haven't put the work in regards to evolving their consciousness into a place that may feel uncomfortable initially, but giving them the chance to evolve their consciousness. That's what's really happening energetically currently now, and that's something positive that we can get out of this situation. This is the chance for a mass amount of people to evolve their consciousness to another existence that can be better than before. And that's something to be celebrated about. And we need to hold on to that in these difficult times at the moment. So, some very interesting information coming out. Okay. And the realization that everything happens within us. Okay. And then that's going to mirror out there. Everything out there is going to sort itself out if we do the work here. Okay? So it's all about awareness at the moment. It's trying to bring an awareness to more people. Okay? And that's the cool thing about it. Just checking to see if there's anything else here we need to do. One thing I'll mention at the end, this is interesting, about the pineal gland. The pineal gland has always been considered this big thing. You know, anybody that's wanting to be more conscious, more aware, they're all, you know, they're like, I need to activate my third eye. I need to activate my pineal gland. What's more important is we need to be more heart-centered. Okay, what I'm finding with a lot of people at the moment, pineal gland is connected to their mind. We need to let go of the mind. Mind is not important here. The mind is not beneficial. The most important place is here. So what I've been doing is disconnecting people's pineal glands from the mind and disconnecting it with the heart space. We need to be here, okay? When we're in our heart space, which we call the sacred heart, which, again, lives behind the physical heart. The physical heart is a manifestation of that energy. That's why there's a rhythm to the heart. It's a vibration, it's a frequency, right? It's a wave of frequency, it's a vortexing frequency that's coming through here. When we are more in this heart space, this sacred heart space, we are more present, we are more aware, we are more in control of our emotions. And one thing we are learning from the people that are not adapting to the scenario of what's going on with the coronavirus, that haven't done the work in regards to their consciousness, is that their response is out of control. They can't control their emotions. They can't control their response. And that's because they're being led by the mind, not by the heart. Okay, when we're heart-centered in the heart, our consciousness sits in the heart, we're more present, more aware, and we're in the now. We live life on what's in front of our nose, and we have more control. But when our consciousness goes into the mind, our mind takes control of your energy, and it sabotages your energy because your mind focuses out in the external world, not here. And we start creating more fear energy, and more fear energy lowers your vibration, and therefore that does not allow you to evolve your consciousness. Okay? So, when we are in our mind, we can't control our emotions. And we're very emotionally diverse, okay? So there's such a difference between being here in the mind and me in the heart. So I think there's a lot to learn from this process in regards to the coronavirus and the way the world is currently happening on this physical plane. There's a lot happening in the background energetically. And what's happening in the background and energetically is quite positive. And I wanted to bring that through in this video, and I hope I have. I hope you're enjoying this information, this intel. And as I say, I want to as I said at the start, I'm not saying this is all a hoax in regards to a virus taking over people and killing people, and people are dying from it. This is actually happening. It is happening. But if we stay in this mindset, okay, instead of bringing our consciousness into the heart and we keep it here, we're just making things worse because we're fueling the fire with our own energy. And what's happening is we're fueling the problem and we are lowering our vibration at the same time. It's not a win-win scenario. It's a lose. We're losing every aspect. We're losing the lesson here, and the lesson here is to try and bring our consciousness from here into the heart space. And when we do that, there'll be less suffering, there'll be less fear, and we will evolve out of this into creating a greater place for humanity, for you individually. You'll learn more about yourself. You'll find out who your true self is. You'll learn about your purpose here. You'll feel more content. And this is a very important word I'm just going to mention now. You're going to feel more at ease. When you are at unease, there is going to be a manifestation of disease. Okay? Okay? Did you hear that? When we're in the heart space, when we're living life right in the now and learning more about ourselves, we can feel more at ease. When our consciousness is up here and it's being drawn to a focus, that dangling carrot of the media and the external world, we're going to be more at unease. And unease at a vibrational level, what does that happen at the physical level? It manifests into disease. I'm going to leave you with that. Okay. Now, if you have any questions or like to post below, I'd love to hear your thoughts about this. Yeah, this is a community. I want to create a community here, and I think we've evolved that in regards to truly holistic with my clientele and the people that we've been helping, all this time. And you're not only clients, you're friends, lifelong friends. Okay, you're people that we're gonna create a new reality here. And if we do stay in the heart space and keep evolving ourselves, we can create this together. Anyway, until next time.